Hello my friends, this is Ian and welcome back to another creature creation session. Today finally being recorded once again live on Twitch. That was a lot of qualifiers for when this is happening and how long it's been since it last happened, but it has been a while and I am back doing live streams live on Twitch. The link will be in the description and on the card and the screen and things, but that's not important. What's important right now is we're doing a creature creation for the first time in ever. Because it has been a little while since I've done one of these creature creations live, I'm going to ease myself back into it by making use of the game that I created a little while ago, the Circle of Champions. I'm going to be making use of a little feature on it that I didn't really highlight that much in the video that I did on it originally with Caitlin. So let me show you what this is all about. So here you can see the folder containing all the game data. This is what is contained within the zip file if you have downloaded the game. And in it you will find a text file called names.txt. And if you open that up, you will find that there is just a huge long list of all of the prompts within the game. All of these were community suggested, but I'm going to delete all of them. And instead I'm going to replace them with this list of over 3,000 different animals that I have managed to find on the internet. As you can see, there are all number of both Latin names, genus names, as well as actual common names as well. And these are now the prompts that the game will choose from if I save this text file. Open the game, you'll see at the bottom where those prompts were originally, they have all been replaced with the animal prompts instead. And we're going to choose 3 of them. So first things first, let's set up the arena. Unfortunately, the Twitch commands don't work. Let's just max them all out. Let's give them a really fun time with the shields and the speed and the landmines and the fire, napalm, death. May it rain upon them. This is good. This seems like a good amount, but not enough napalm. Need more fire. More fire. Is that too much? That might be, but who cares? They're going to clear it out with their bodies and their faces. Commencing cockroach cataclysm in 3, 2, 1, and go. Hooray! Perfect. So here are the results of our cockroach genocide, and we have the Porphyrio. I don't know what any of these are at the moment, which is beautiful. The Ecus burchelli and the Cordylus minor. Hooray for Latin! So in this exceptionally long-winded way of getting some prompts, what have we actually ended up with? We have the Porphyrio, which is some kind of a water bird with crazy legs. So that's a good one. Our second animal is the Ecus burchelli, which is of course the plain zebra. I should have known that. But it does sound like an opera singer. Come on, Ecus burchelli. Our final prompt is the Cordylus minor, or Cordylus minor. Oh, look how cute. I want one. I want 6. Look at him. He's awesome. I love him. So it is now my task to mix these 3 together into some kind of a creature, and I can't help but feel that we're going to be heading in some kind of hippogriff direction. Because, come on, a hippogriff with these legs at the front? I'm going to see you on the other side of this little bit of design before we jump into the final thing. Having already got a pretty solid idea of what direction I wanted to take this creature in meant that I could solely focus on the silhouette of the creature at this stage and not have to worry too much about what part of the creatures to use where, like whether I was going to use the zebra's head or whether I was going to use one of the bird's heads. I already knew that because I was going to be making a hippogriff. So the time could be used trying to figure out how to build up that known form out of the pieces that I had available, and combining them together in a number of simple profile shots in order to try and find a body shape that I felt was both dynamic and interesting. I then quickly grabbed a few more references with some better anatomy and used them to put my new hippogriff into a more interesting pose to carry forward into the final piece. So I spent a little bit of time throwing these different prompts and references together into some new creature, and I think you'll agree what we have come out with is pretty fantastic, or it will be when it's finished. I felt almost certain, definitely going to lean towards some kind of a hippogriff. So I used the longer neck from the purple swamp hen and the shorter neck from the common nighthawk in these two approaches. I also played around with the wings and definitely was getting an impression that I'd have a fun, nicer silhouette with the swamp hen's wings, and the shorter neck I actually decided to go for. I really liked the stumpiness of this guy. And then, of course, we had to add in the legs from the swamp hen because, quite frankly, how could I not? So this thing then felt a little bit front heavy. This thing's not going to walk that far. It's going to be crawling towards you like some kind of Smeagol or Gollum, but upright on its hind legs. I think this thing is going to make a fairly fearsome predator. That's how I'm going to approach this final artwork, him rearing up on his hind legs in sort of a bipedal attack or defense kind of posture in this manner. I think he's going to be cool. So I'm going to stop talking now and actually do the artwork. Before refining the line work, I set about finishing the scene by extracting a rough perspective from my sketch to find the horizon, and quickly blocking in some sketchy mountains in the distance, as well as the approximate position of the rival our hippogriff is fending off. I also decided to add some borders to the top and bottom of the picture, something I've started doing more in recent pieces to give a more cinematic feel. After this, I did a very loose, refined sketch to define the main features and anatomy of the creature, being sure to add anything I didn't want to miss off later, such as the zebra's ears and the mane. The challenge really came with trying to get the frontmost forelimb in such a way that it didn't look completely out of place, which was less than easy considering how out of scale they feel. I think it's probably partly that and how naked those limbs are compared to the rest of the creature that give it a slightly unnerving and even creepy look despite the overall majesty of the rest of the creature. I selected my local colours directly from my references, continuing to very loosely paint them under the sketch, keeping the colours from each of the animals referenced on their respective parts of the hippogriff. The only part I deviated from that was to add the red beak and forehead from the swamp hen to the nighthawk's head to give it a more fearsome look, and also carry some of those colours across from the swamp hen that would have been lost otherwise. After this, a quick shadow pass on a multiply layer then helps the loose sketch and the colours to start finding a three-dimensional form. That's then magnified further still with a quick pass of light. From this point, I basically alternate back and forwards between the painting the shadows and painting the light until I have a form that I'm happy with. It's only then that I start the refining process, concentrating on details I know the eye is going to be drawn to, such as the face and the forelimbs. I do this and I take a lot of care to not flatten any of the shading that I had introduced in the previous steps by making sure to select colours from very close to the area that I'm actually working on. Once all that is done, I start working on cleaning up the outer edges of the creature from any artifacts from the previous step. And after going back and forwards and repeating this process a few times, I was ready to move on to the environment that this creature inhabits. There are several ways that I could have taken that, either drawing inspiration from the habitats that the reference animals come from themselves, such as the plains for the zebra, or perhaps the wetlands or swamplands for the purple swamp hen, but instead of choosing one of those environments from there, I decided to go with a more mountainous habitat, more akin to like the Himalayas. I felt the coloration of the hippogriff that I'd gone for so far would more than likely lend themselves to a marine or mountainous environment. So I kind of snuck both in there. I've got the mountains as the primary focus, and then in the distance just peeking through there's an ocean as well. So I kind of covered both bases. In order to actually create the mountains, I first roughed out their silhouette and then used the lasso tool to pick out areas of snow and light on the sunward side of the mountains, filling them in with a much lighter shade. I then repeated that process on the shaded side of the mountain. That gives some really rough mountain forms that I can then go in and start detailing out. I did struggle to keep the outcropping that the Hippogriff has stood on obviously separated from the background, and to try and help this, I increased the contrast and some of the saturation in the shadows and the rocks that the Hippogriff has stood on, and that seemed to help things out a lot. Then, over a number of very blurred and smudged layers, I added in the rival, and I did this in order to give it the sense of sort of fast movement, as though it was kind of swooping in or hovering just off camera. The final stage of the painting is another refining stage in which both the subject and the environment really start to kind of knit together. More intense highlights and shadows are added to where the light would be most impacting the creature, and by concentrating on the direction that the light is coming from and its intensity, the three-dimensional form of the creature and how it's sitting in the environment really starts to be revealed. Really, this process of painting the shadows and then the lights and refining and then repeating can be done over and over and over again until a painting has the level of detail and depth that you want. There is nothing standing in the way of my continuing to refine this piece, for example, other than the time that it would take. But not wanting this process to go on any longer than it really had to, now was really simply a case of finishing off the last few details by breaking up the solid colour of the sky with some simple clouds. I would have liked to have gradiated the sky a little, but I kind of forgot. I also added in the zebra stripes to the body of the Hippogriff, using a multiply layer to paint them directly over the creature, combining them together and then lightening the areas of the stripes that are being hit directly by the light. Those final few details and this Hippogriff creature creation is complete. We started today with 3 randomly selected animals, being the common nighthawk, the plains zebra, and the purple swamp hen, and we have managed to successfully combine them together into a new species of hippogriff. I'm really happy with the way that it's come out. It's got a lot of character. It's kind of creepy with its massively oversized forelimbs, and I am glad that I went with a sort of upright pose rather than kind of having it crawling along the floor towards the camera or something, just because that would have been a bit too creepy. But if you cover up those forelimbs, then it just looks like a new kind of bird with horse feet and a crazy hairstyle. So there's that. Now I was originally going to put like a nest with an egg or something that it's defending, but I kind of forgot. But hey, with that in mind, I hope you guys have enjoyed this painting and are looking forward to seeing the results of future live streams. And of course, if you want to come and join in on any future live streams, then you can do so by following the link in the description and following me over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/imp_mellis. Link is in the description on screen and probably in the sky by now as well. And if everything has worked out just right and you are watching this video as it is released on YouTube, then I should be just about to start streaming over on Twitch as this video finishes. So if you want to come and join in on any streams, now is the opportune moment to follow that link in the description. But anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always guys, take care, and I will see you next time.